Hello and welcome to Data Planet. I'm Emma Davis, and today's guest is Anirudh Narayan, co-founder and chief growth officer at Lyzr. Welcome to the show, Ani.
Hey, thank you for having me, Emma.
So to start, give me some background. What does Lyzr do, and who are your customers?
Yeah, let's get straight into it. So Lyzr is we're like a full stack agent infrastructure platform. So the way to think about it is if companies want to bring AI, they want to either build agentic workflows or they want us to build. We not only offer the platform, but it's a platform plus people model to help you bring these workflows. And we started very horizontal, and what that means is mostly started with, hey, can we automate go to market workflows? Like, can you automate outbound for me on the sales side, right? And then marketing could be content generation or distribution. And we did HR and customer support, but I would say over the last 12 months, our focus has been banking. So banking or BFSI, right? Like there's a lot of uh, regulations. You want to make sure data cannot hallucinate. There's a lot of like guardrails needed, and I think our platform specializes in agent building and delivering agentic solutions, specifically for companies and industries where it's complex. Uh, so that's a sweet spot.
Okay, nice. And so for someone not fully familiar with this as a solution, apart from a general anxiety around being late to the game
Yeah,
with AI and missing opportunity? Like what does the challenge sound like that you're helping customers address? Are you talking to them about, saving money, being able to grow more efficiently, being more consistent? Like what are the specific pain points or value propositions that are meaningful to those customers?
yeah. No, actually, let's maybe take a step back. I'll maybe give you a couple of analogies, right? So one is, let's say most companies today, if you played around Lego blocks, most companies are like, here's a Lego block, I'm giving you a manual, build it out on your own, right? So it could be like you go through the manual, you like build out, let's say, a Harry Potter Lego, and you could do that if you know how to build Legos and you know how to read a technical manual. Uh, but today the companies are, listen, I want to focus on my business workflow. Can you just give me the Lego block of Harry Potter? But listen, like, I don't want him to hold a wand. I want him to hold a sword, maybe. All right. I don't want
Uh-huh.
Harry's hair to be like black, could be red. So, I mean, in that sense, we are more like, here are Lego blocks for automating different workflows, but we can also put it up together for you. Um, and there are a lot of complexities that kick in. So we do that. But I think to the second part of your question, Emma, usually people come to us with, here is a workflow that's super repetitive. And maybe I'll give you an example with Accenture, right? So Accenture is one of our clients. Oh, I didn't answer the other question in terms of who are our customers. So our customers, we have Accenture, we have First Source, we have HFS, we have Persistent, we have AirAsia Move. We're doing some work with Under Armour. We do a lot of work with like global large scale like consulting companies that are like, hey, like I have all these customers that want to bring AI into their organization.
Hmm.
Can you either deliver that solution or can you, in some sense, give us your platform that they can build on,
Got
right?
it.
So,
Okay.
like, imagine through Accenture itself, we have, let's say, 35 parallel conversations with each of their MDs and their verticals,
Got it.
right?
Okay.
So so that's and customers we're seeing across the board. We're doing something with NVIDIA as well. They want to automate. Let's say they get like thousands of leads, obviously every month, and they want to make sure the leads get automatically scored and then get assigned to the AEs or the account executive. So uh, there's some use cases there. KPMG, there's an exploration around. Uh, they're managing lots of suppliers. I want to figure out which supplier to pick based on a requirement. And if there's a certain supplier that says not meeting the deadline, is there like automatic, like almost like uh, a reactive or an insight that comes in saying, hey, listen, this person's failing on some of the contracts. Maybe you should consider someone else. So there's a lot of these like internal workflows, which are like, I guess, a lot of like manual heavy lifting that you need to do. and I think that becomes a sweet spot.
Hmm.
But in terms of savings, a lot of the savings actually just comes down to time and anchoring against productivity.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Uh, People come to us saying, hey, like we've had clients come to us, Emma, say that, oh, I have 12 sales folks now, I only want two. Can AI like do as much work
Hmm.
for the two? But honestly, the reality of it is people that have overhired in the last 2, 3 years are culling. Like Amazon, I think is a good example. Companies are not necessarily cutting out humans because of AI. I think what we're seeing is massive productivity gains and then expectations going up. So it'll be like if you spend 10 hours a week doing this task, now AI does that in, let's say, like 20 minutes.
Hmm.
Uh, so the quantification of a win actually is a lot around time,
Okay.
right?
Nice. Which
So,
imagine then translates into being more competitive in their individual markets. If they can do, deliver something faster, that's a competitive advantage for them.
yeah, and everything is shortening, right? Like earlier, let's say if it took me 2 weeks to build a prototype, now I can do that in 24 hours. With like a Lovable or a Bolt or even like our tool, which is Architect. And yeah, I just plugged in Architect. And yeah, so I think my issue is actually the expectations have gone up of an individual, right? Like even with marketing campaigns, I feel like if you're on that space, hey, I want landing pages in 24 hours. I want 15 new creatives that we can churn every week for performance, let's say in like 2 days, why a week? So
Mhm.
yeah. So I think
Yeah.
that's an issue right now, I think.
Nice. And so you just name dropped Architect. Can you talk a little bit about Architect and how that's different from what you guys have been doing to this point?
Yeah. So if you think about like if anyone's really trying to build a house today, and let's say they have a flat piece of land, you mostly go to an architect. And the I think one thing that architects really good at is he or she will ask you a lot of like specific questions around where do you spend most time in your house? Like which room, like are you okay with like ground floor plus first floor, right? Like where is like are you okay with east facing or north facing? So a lot of these questions kick in, and then after they build out a blueprint. And once you say, hey, I'm okay with how this house is going to look, they outsource it to a contractor and like literally like these builders and developers, right? And I would say that's the exact same analogy for in the software world or in the agent building world, which is most business folks are like, man, I understand my workflow, but I don't know how to build. So the architect today will ask you, okay, what are you trying to build? What tools do you want to connect with? Or who are the other people that will access this tool? Where do you want humans to intervene in this process, right? And then it'll also ask you like very specific technical contextual questions. If you're trying to build, let's say, a marketing agent, it'll ask you domain specific questions. And then it builds out a beautiful agentic workflow with a front end. So if Emma is looking to build marketing agents, like she could build that out in like 6 to 7 minutes and then take it live and actually monetize it also if she wanted. So and I think if we were pushing this out in Product Hunt, it would be like if N8N and Lovable try to have a baby. That would
Okay.
be the other positioning, I think.
Got it. Okay. All right. So let's talk a little bit about your own growth strategy as an organization. So, you and I talked before this call about the focus on enterprise and like, businesses always have this, the B2B SaaS companies in particular have this, do I want to go straight for enterprise? Do I want to start at, SMB? Like, where am I starting? So can you talk a little bit about why enterprise is the right focus for you guys as a company?
I mean, I think a couple of things. So one is Shiva, who started Lyzr, and then Jimmy and I joined him as co-founders. Shiva actually did a lot of enterprise sales over the last 10 years, right? So high contextual knowledge on how to get into that ecosystem. How do you leverage, let's say, a partner like AWS? and how you can land, let's say, 100K, 250K, or $1 million deal, right? Um, so I think there is, first of all, contextual knowledge. Second is, if you're able to, it takes a long time to close, but if you close an enterprise deal in a critical mission, I mean, like mission critical workflow, like your LTV could be like 5 years, right? So like it's hard for them to like really pull you out. Um, and I think just the deal size is so much bigger. It's crazy. Like we could be doing, which we're trying to do with PLG as well. I think most companies today follow the path of, I'll build something for an SMB or a startup. I'll charge that $39, $99, and then I start moving upstream towards an enterprise, right? And I think the need of the hour, surprisingly, is a lot more with enterprises as well. First time we're also seeing they have massive budgets. Usually enterprise adoption takes time. Like this time around, like everybody's open to it. So I think those things kind of matter. And because our focus is banking, like we're also in New York and New Jersey, so I think some of that overlap also helps. Uh, and the whole platform, honestly, is just set up for enterprise
Okay.
to make
Yeah.
sure there are guardrails, there's no hallucination, right? There's strong governance, there's responsible and safe AI. You're building agents specifically, let's say, for like claims processing or dispute management. Like it's, so I think in that sense, Emma, it's, yeah, I guess it's an overlap. So maybe that's the direction.
Yeah. And I guess if the value you provide is solving complex problems or dealing with, complicated systems, the bigger the organization, the more complex their systems tend to be. So the more value you can provide there. So I think that makes sense. Um, in thinking about marketing and how you're reaching these people. So obviously there's, an ABM approach. I'm only talking to outbound, I want to talk to this specific person at this specific organization. But in terms of any like inbound, any paid marketing or lead generation through your website, one of the things I've found with organizations trying to target enterprise specifically is your best source of enterprise leads is also your best source of leads that you don't want. Like it can be really hard to differentiate um, in your audience targeting. And you might shoot yourself in the foot by saying, I want to get rid of anything that's producing leads that aren't qualified because, well, maybe that's also the thing producing qualified leads. So I'm curious if that's a challenge for you as well, or if you've found strategies to dial into that enterprise only audience and not, um, not pay for leads that aren't ultimately who you want to be talking to.
Yeah. See, I mean, I guess that's a fair question. And like we really, I would say over the last year and a half, we've really doubled down on SEO and LLM SEO. Like, and as much as, but we don't get more than 3 or 4 MQLs. For us, MQLs is actually Booker demos, but we don't get more than 3 or 4 Booker demos through ChatGPT, Perplexity, or Gemini on a
Mm,
weekly basis.
okay.
A big chunk of Booker demos or MQLs for us still come through Google.
Hmm.
Uh, and I would say it's almost 25% of our MQLs on a monthly basis. And so we've obviously heavily invested in like building pages, optimizing for keywords. And Emma, as I mentioned, like we were really focused on sales, marketing, HR in 2025.
Hmm.
So, and our focus now is, while it continues to be that, like the 250K, 500K is more in BFSI, and um, there's another product called Lyzr GPT that we have, but in these legacy industries, right? So um, we can't control what kind of leads we get. Like, I mean, 90% of our team is in India, and a lot of us don't want leads from India. So, so it's like we predominantly want MQLs from the US. Um, so we're like, I would say 12 of us, 12, I think, no, 15 folks in the US, 2 in Canada, and then like 160 people in India. So it's
Hmm.
like, so there's no, but I think from a targeting standpoint, we are very Aimer, UK, Europe, Middle East. So the ads just go in specifically in those uh, countries. We used to spend maybe $8,000 to $10,000 a month. Now we're ramping that up and seeing if we can spend maybe 40, 50K a month just towards this. Um, LinkedIn is another solid platform for us. Like Shiva is really active. I'm relatively active. So we're almost trying to create an army of LinkedIn creators within Lyzr, right? So imagine you have these swim lanes where one person's just talking about system integrators and one person's talking about just like the technical comparison between us and LangChain. So like you kind of like spread out with 8, 9 of them having specialties.
Mm.
Um,
And
but
that's just
LinkedIn seems,
your own team members at Lyzr?
yeah, or own team member. We have one person dedicated to make sure everyone posts. Not like everyone ends up posting, but it's just getting them to exercise that muscle. I think takes time. Uh, but we've seen first degree, first and second degree network getting activated quite a bit
Yeah,
because of
nice.
Shiva. Like just to give you context, I think Shiva is maybe at 35,000. I'm almost at 20,000 followers. We were less than half at the start of 2025. So yeah, so I think LinkedIn founder led LinkedIn does help. I think.
Yeah. Yeah, fair enough. And I think you guys are in such a cool position right now to be able to sort of answer what feels like a really urgent call, right, from these businesses, and then to have the network where um, the network and established, I don't know, business gravitas or whatever to be able to get into those conversations and talk with those folks. So, yeah, kudos to you guys on that expansion over the past year. And yeah,
Thank you. I was going to say, Emma, that's maybe 90% of it. Like
yeah,
we can take the same like concepts and like literally the same sort of strategies applied to another industry, and like you won't get squat, right? Like um, so much has to be attributed to just market momentum and pull. And
yeah,
then now the problem that we have is like, man, there's so much noise in this space. Like literally there are like 100 competitors. How do we like it's like Chris Martin's on stage and everyone has like this board saying, dude, like give me attention, and we just try to get attention, and that's been hard.
yeah. Well,
Yeah.
and I imagine a lot of people like just every conversation in the past few years has been like, what are you doing with AI? Are you, and so I imagine there's also a lot of people seeking your attention and you being like, no, this is not, you're looking
No,
for
no, no.
someone to help you
Not
figure out.
true. Not true.
Not
We'll
true.
just be like, yeah, you want to help? Yeah, dude, like I'll figure something out. Yeah, we'll absolutely
Don't
figure
get
a
it
way to help you.
twisted. We want to talk to everybody.
Yeah. I mean, we
Okay.
should be very grateful that people want to reach out to us. So yeah, so we'll
Yeah.
take it.
Yeah. Okay. Lovely. Well, let's wrap the show there. If you're interested in learning more about Ani and Lyzr, information will be in the show notes. Otherwise, Ani, thank you so much for coming on the show.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. This was great.